From being a 3-time Primetime Emmy Award winner to being a popular name in pop culture, James Spader has a lot to be proud of. But for some reason, he still believes he's an embarrassment to his family. See, James Spader is not just red. He's played roles in projects like Sex, Lies, and Videotape, and Pretty in Pink, which, believe it or not, are more his taste. Now, if I'm not wrong, Blacklist kinda doesn't fall in with those shows. So why take the job? Well, apparently, he wanted to find something which was going to mix irreverence with drama. He wanted a character who would continue to surprise him. That too on a series with 22 episodes a season. But even after landing the role, the Blacklist star didn't feel all too accomplished. Like I said, he felt like an embarrassment to his family. Why, though? Shouldn't he be sleeping peacefully with all those Emmy Awards tucked under his pillow? Well, apparently not, because he thinks he's not cool at home. We all know Raymond Reddington is a class act, sassy and just downright cool. But at home, he has no computer, no electronics. He has this broken razor phone. When it rings, Spader flips it open, which kinda shuts it off. Now, James is all too fine with his poor tech knowledge. But his kids, though, they're always shaking their heads and are kind of embarrassed for him. Guess they don't watch their dads work. Do they know he was Ultron? I think that should get James some street cred with the kids. Still, I'm glad James decided to grab a role on the top-rated NBC show.
Senator, unlike your lunch date here, I'm not interested in foreplay. I've spoken with a number of sources who tell me the man in the photo is in the business of finding difficult-to-find items and is presently trying to find...
Because you see, he wasn't always looking for characters to surprise him. For most of his life, James accepted projects for entirely different reasons. Reasons that had a lot to do with money. In fact, that's why the actor went back to The Office as everyone's favorite Robert California.
I don't have a husband. For Lydia and her husband had had an argument, one they couldn't get past. Each night they slept.
According to his interview with Deadline, Robert had a ball doing that one episode. In hindsight, it turned out to be a good decision, because two good things came of it. He was offered a role in Lincoln, a film that everyone was saying yes to for money, and lucky for Spader, he had just finished a play in New York and was looking to land a new job. One that paid money, of course. Luckily, the folks at The Office were kind enough to release him in the fall so he could go work on his new project. I do have one question, though. James might have been in the start of his career at the time, but he was still paid. So why the financial woes? Well, according to his interview with The Guardian, he's not very responsible economically. Oh, and to make it even better, he gets it from his father. Even Papa Spader struggled with money. Now, James may or may not have gotten the looks, but he did inherit poor financial planning. It's so bad that James admitted that he has a history of working on films for years and years. And by the time he's set to start a new film, his bank account shows a bunch of zeros, and not the good kind. Unfortunately, it kind of gets worse for James. The money problems might have led to his divorce. Don't fret, he's still married to genius sculptor and actress Leslie Stefanson, and they even have a kid together. But before Leslie, there was Victoria, who James married in 1987. Unfortunately, the two only had a short marital life as they were divorced in 2004. Now, we never found out the full details, but James did reveal that he was working all the time, which doesn't exactly lead to a healthy life at home. He wouldn't be working too much if he had money. So, do you see the problem? And if you think this is James just kicking himself, well then, I have some news for you. Andrew Goldman kinda confirmed everything. He profiled Spader for Rolling Stone and said that the Emmy Award winner was never the most driven guy in the world. He took every summer off back when his sons were young. But whenever he signed up for a role, it was always because he was out of money and needed to pay the bills. Oh, and the self-deprecation doesn't stop there. Apparently, James is not the kind of actor who has something exciting in the pipeline all the time. He just sucks at that part of the job. In fact, he loathes it. Why? Well, because he's a terrible planner. He just wants to show up on set, do his job, and leave. In his own words, I prefer to have nothing to do with the actual business of being an actor. Back in 2013, James sat down for an interview with the Independent UK. The 63-year-old revealed that he likes to read and listen to music and go for walks and cooking and eating and spending time with his family. He doesn't really find himself searching for things on the television very much. Yikes. You'd think at least actors would love their jobs, but nope. It really is all about putting food on the table for Spader. Nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. But the actor does have to admit that in his pursuit of money, he has managed to create an incredibly unique persona for himself on screen. He's the cinema poster boy for sexual dysfunction, and one of the FBI's most wanted, and a killer lawyer. If you're confused about the first bit, I suggest you watch some of his older work. All of his characters have these creepy undertones. And you know what? James loves it. Apparently, the idea of the unknown is very appealing to him. Like I said before, he likes to be surprised. He loves the idea that he might know less at the end of reading something than he does at the beginning. Well, he's brave. I'll give him that. In his interview with The Guardian, the actor talked about how if he's choosing a project on content, it's through a prism of sexuality. He's not interested in exploring a slice of life unless that is down the corridor and around the corner, up the alley and down the rabbit hole. He took on Ultron for similar reasons. Spader thought it would be fun, and he wanted to know what would happen. That and the fact that when he was a kid, he had trunks of comics. I do have to ask something. James clearly doesn't have a passion for acting. So how did he start down this road? Well, it sort of happened by accident for him. When he was a kid, he thought it'd be exciting to be a pirate or a detective. Then he realized if you make believe for a profession, then you can do that as well as other things. Either way, I'm glad James went down this road. He's given us a lot of memorable characters in both TV and film. He's going to be back to Blacklist for season 10. He's paid very well now. Last time checked, he was making $300,000 per episode for Blacklist. Hopefully that's put a lid on the money problems and the uncoolness at home. The good part is that at this point in his career, Spader knows to ask for more. As for other projects, well, by now I think you should know the answer to that. He doesn't have anything in the pipeline. Still, if I was in James Spader's place, I'd be pretty proud of myself. And I hope his kids can realize one day that they've got a superhero for a dad, or the FBI's most wanted for that matter. And that was all the deets I had on why Spader thinks he's an embarrassment to his family.